Treasury says it'll be keeping a tight fist on the country's finances and won't be entertaining any new major spending requests. That's what it needs to do if it's going to reduce the country's exorbitant debt, expected to reach 4.3 trillion rand this year. Treasury says if it reins in spending over the medium term, the country could raise a small budget surplus by the middle of this decade. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Opposition parties have taken a dim view of the finance minister missing his first post-budget engagement with Parliament's finance committees for health reasons. But his deputy, David Masondo, has spelled out the implications of spiralling debt.
Over the MTF period is going to be 1 trillion. So can you imagine if that we didn't have debt, and I'm not saying debt in itself is bad, it depends on what you're borrowing for, but imagine if we didn't have this debt, this 1 trillion should be going to education, health, and other important expenditure items. So debt does crowd out important expenditure item.
Treasury technocrats say their new fiscal strategy doesn't include doling out cash hand over fist for new projects. It says past decisions to commit long-term for short-term gains has put the country in its current predicament.
You have to think about the sequencing of those commitments. You need to think about the cost of those commitments. And also you need to think very carefully about the long-run economic performance of the country, rather than short-run improvements in growth and revenue.
Although revenue is up marginally over what was predicted earlier this year, it's still less than what was projected in the budget of 2020. Treasury says the lockdown has impacted not only on revenue generation, but also putting additional pressure on widening the social support net.
The reality is that we have to improve the performance of the economy. We have to ensure that the economy performs in order for us to stop the dependence on the grants. Currently, many South Africans, as you said, 27 million are getting grants. Yes, the reality is that we want to get many more people out of that so that they are able to work and are able to create, conducive living standards for themselves through improving their own situations, obviously assisted by government.
Treasury says addressing the energy crisis and the stifled communication sector are key to encouraging more private sector investment to grow the economy and create jobs. Lindsay Dentlinger, Cape Town.